Welcome back to another very serial episode of Grape Ace Attorney. That's right, guys. I said Grape Ace Attorney, not great, because it's still great, but it's also grape. I don't know. Actually, that's not even what I named the stream. I named it Nate Nanjo Ace Attorney Eternal Resolve. Because, haha, I had to have a funny Ace Attorney Persona crossover in there, because that's happened before, definitely. But anyways, we did end the last episode on a very serious note because Gregson is dead. Like I'm not joking about that. He's gone. Now, I will say, I actually did get spoiled on Gregson dying, unfortunately. But I thought that would be saved for case 5, not case 4. So, it is still a little bit of a surprise to me. And also, I have no idea who killed him. I just know he's dead. He dies at some point in this game. That's all I have. That's all I went off of. I mean, that's still a pretty big spoiler, but it kind of sucks that I know about that going into this game. Because, you know, silly me, I look at the frickin' wiki and I just want to read about him. And, you know, get an image for the thumbnail. And then, oops, I found out he's dead. So, cool. I knew that, like, before even going into this game. So, silly me, I guess. And that's why you never read the wikis until you're fully finished a game or an anime. Because, yeah, otherwise shit like this happens, where you get spoiled inadvertently. Alright. So, my phone wants to be stupid and not load Twitch for some god-awful reason. So, whatever, I guess. Alright, we're good now. Let's just continue. I talked long enough. Okay, now it loads. Oh yeah, that's right. We had to go to a new area. The Fresno Street Room. I don't think we've ever been here before. What the hell is going on here? This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden rented old room is where it happened, then. Sad Susato. So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life? Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere. Yeah, maybe he's too busy making diamond minecart videos. Oi, what you think you're doing there? Every one of them drawers gotta be taken right out so you can look underneath and all. I want the space above the ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney sack too. Blimey, and you ain't lot ever going over in the house and look over the door when the owner's out of town? Gina's obviously got some unique investigating techniques she wants everyone to adopt. Pouty face. Oh, so you turned up at last? Mind you, haven't been there myself. Hello again, Gina. Sholmes is all he just left. You're lucky you missed that. You went practicing around in here, pointing at stuff and flicking at his old just in scraphead. Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah, he didn't stop to say nothing to no one, not even me. Gina, would you mind if we investigated too? Listen, Odo. You're a lawyer, right? Yeah, why? Well, you're not thinking of trying to help that Reaper bloke, are you? Oh, poor Gina. She's never going to forget, is she? That trial will haunt me forever. Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zieks really is responsible for this crime, he'll be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah. Go on then, Edo. It'll get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here. Thank you, Gina. Well, let's present. Hey, we got a lot of stuff. Look at that. We already got 5, well, I guess 4 pieces of evidence. Well, here's my armband. This armband is proof, in Japan at least, that I'm a defense lawyer. And this badge is proof that I'm a detective.
So you're all gonna have to start calling me Inspector Lestrade.
In that case, you'll have to start oh, okay, we actually read this. That's funny. I like that they carry over some of that funny dialogue in between cases. But hey, it's worth it to do it in every case because, you know, Sholmes had something new to say this case, so I figured I'd at least try.
Oh, that business. Yeah, Inspector Lestrade's here soon and I had one button up.
That was Mr. Sholmes who led that pair into a trap, wasn't it?
Listen, Odo. It ain't easy going from East End Iowa to Scotland Yard detective, right? But anyway, it's all part of the charm, isn't it? Being a bit loose with the truth when it helps.
That's wrong for so many reasons.
Maybe. Maybe I should get Iris to write stories about me, the adventures of Inspector Lestrade.
That's funny, because that's canon, actually. Gina, what do you make of this?
What is that? Evidence? Waking something up what happened, have you?
Oh, no, not exactly.
I ain't been long enough in the job to get all this deducting business yet. But I swear, I'm gonna get the person what did this to the boss.
Alright, well, I don't think she know anything about this letter. Pouty face. And then, dismissal note? Nope, pouty face. Alright, well, there we go. Well, let's actually talk for realsies now. So yeah, the thing is now that Gregson's dead, now Gina's gonna be like the main inspector for the last two cases of the game, is what it looks like. So I mean, she basically is just taking the torch and doing it pretty well, honestly. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place?
That's what I want to know. It's what, half a year since I got all the clink? That's when I decided to give up me diving and become a detective instead.
Oh yes, Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as apprentice, didn't he?
Something like that, I think. Anyway, point is, didn't really know much about the boss till then. But turns out, he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case, just like that.
He did?
Yep, and ever since then he started going on all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else at the yard even knows what half the cases he's working on, apparently.
That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So what was that legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this?
I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all, but look where it landed him.
Respect for the Reaper? In what way?
I heard him say as much. Take my hat out for the fella with his words.
Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people feel terrified of the Reaper.
Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why he respected the bloke.
What, out of fear? Didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in such quite high regard.
He said something else to me and all.
I gotta stop pressing that button by accident. Like, the A and X button are right next to each other. It's a habit. I do that in Danganronpa too sometimes, I think.
That I didn't need people to worry about the Reaper because he only goes after people what are bad. Did kind of set my mind at ease when he said that.
Right. What is this place then? Does anyone live here?
Apparently it's been rented by some cove called Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone? Hugh Boone?
Is that another Herlock Sholmes character that I should know about? I don't know. Or it's either, you know, here's the thing. It's either a pun name or it's a Herlock Sholmes name. It's like, you never know what you're gonna get unless you know the source material that well. Which I don't, because I don't read that crap. But, hey, I mean, kudos to those who do, you know? How many people playing this game have actually read the Herlock Sholmes stories? Is what I want to know. Yeah, if anybody has, raised their hand, I guess. Sort of here today, gone tomorrow name in that, yeah, in they...
Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him.
I see. Well, judging from appearances, I'd have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever.
Right, all the lads from the yard piled down to get stuck in the investigation. But they settled it here and no one know what to do with themselves.
By the way, I really love her theme song. I kind of like forgot about it after I beat the first game, but it really just hits a lot harder in this game. Maybe it's because she's an inspector now, and so now I can't really associate it with just her being the inspector now, and her being her theme song, because it was the same song in the last game, but she was just kind of like a prankster in the last game. So, it didn't really matter as much, in my opinion.
I do wonder.
Yes, Miss Sudoto?
Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself?
What? How could that be?
Well, he is investigating on his own. It's quite possible that this was in fact some kind of secret office of his.
I'd never even consider that.
Nice work, Suze. We're actually following a line of inquiry like that ourselves.
You are?
If you look around the room, you'll see there's a few things that hint at it.
We should really investigate this place in detail. And then the incident.
I see that's where the poor inspector was found, over there.
Yeah, we got all these funny cape guys.
Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what did him in. Apparently, the bullet went straight through him and struck the candle tree on the wall.
Oh yes, it's blown one of the candles apart completely.
And the gun used there is on the floor. It's the Reaper's in it, no denying that.
I didn't even know I don't think he had a gun. What, really?
How do you know that? Take it easy. I don't know what to do with myself when you stare at me with them big wide eyes. I'm almost saying what I heard. Don't know much about the guns myself. But there's some bigwig lawman or whatever he said so. Why don't you ask him?
A bigwig lawman, is it?
Anyway, Fresno Street runs along the window there. There are some street sellers out there who just heard the gunshot. Oh, but I don't really see anybody outside. Yeah, they all been taken down the yard for questioning, that's why. Well, talking about the yard's legendary inspector here, after all, they'll be getting grilling.
Do you think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves?
I doubt it. The lads at the yard will just want to know what you're snooping for and you'll be up for a grilling and all.
Well, I mean, I do like grilled, but I can't deal with that. So we can't interview the witnesses then. Oh, shame. Alright, well, I guess we gotta examine now. We gotta find all the goods. An empty fireplace makes the room feel even colder than when it would be otherwise.
It's thick with dust, look. I think it'd be fair to say it hasn't been used in a very long time.
In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in the cold weather.
Or nobody lived here at all and merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely.
No, that's right. It's one or the other. Yeah, what's with being able to examine fireplaces in this game?
Oh, it's a photograph stand. I suppose it must be a picture of one of the Inspector Gregson family members. Oh.
What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head.
They are, look! Mr. Naruto, quickly!
Wait, isn't that, what's that? Who is that again? That's fucking, Mrs. Belleville or whatever her name is? Vigil, yeah.
Of course she's familiar. We met her only this morning.
It's Mrs. Vigil.
This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Mrs. Vigil in here?
To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped.
I'm sorry to say I have no idea either.
So we have a framed photograph of Mrs. Vigil, huh? Well then who's Mr. Vigil? Who is he? Excuse me. Oh, Inspector! Oh, sir! Poor man, he can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset. Okay, I was trying to examine the board here.
This looks like some sort of notice board or something.
And it's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. Yeah, it's like that one fucking Charlie Day meme from Always Sunny.
Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, look!
This, you mean? It's an autopsy report, isn't it?
And these are case notes here, and details of prison inmates.
Sort of like Mr. Vigil. Yes, in fact, they're all sort of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room?
Some old newspaper cuttings. Oh, and this one here.
Oh yes, the advertisement, you mean? To the Redhead League. I'm starting to get the assumption that maybe Mr. Vigil is, Gregson. Is that possible? But why? What's that case doing here?
Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it for some reason.
I don't know if that's a correct assumption, but I don't know. I kind of get that feeling. Excuse me. Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. Right. Perhaps I'd better leave you to your work, then. It's funny how you can talk to all the guys, though. This is presumably the meta weapon, then. What is that, just a 9mm or whatever? I don't know whatever it's called.
Oh my, is it real, I suppose?
I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan. I really know very little about them. Yeah, except for case 1 where he had a gun.
There's one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Fire a shot.
No. If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly safer, just ask someone who might know, I think. Okay, well, maybe... Well, I can't really... Well, what Gina said she doesn't know, so... Probably not worth it to ask her. Oh, what's this?
You'd appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it? In a way.
Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson?
It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zieks playing with something like this.
It's only about 8 centimeters tall. Could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record it as evidence, just in case.
Yes, I agree. It's rather delightful, after all, in a way.
Oh, is it gonna have, like, blood on the back? Watch. It's gonna have fucking blood on the back. I can already tell. Well, let's see. Okay, nothing to examine here. But that probably will come in handy later. Like, we're probably gonna have to compare something to this photograph or whatever. I don't know. Did I read this already? I don't think I read this yet. Chief Warder Daily Vigil is relieved of his post with immediate effect for having violated Clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct for Prisoners. All rights to redundancy pay and other financial benefits are fully revoked. Aiding and abetting the escape from this prison of convict blank just for prior to his execution. Huh. Details of this escape are still being investigated. Full cooperation with inquiries will be expected. Prison Governor Barry Caden. Okay, and that's the guy in charge, right? Indications are that the jailbreak plot was conceived prior to the convict's incarceration. It's believed that the convict engaged in some form of negotiation with prison staff in order to secure assistance. Full disclosure of information regarding these negotiations will be demanded. I'll probably read that again later and understand it. I suppose this must have been the meta weapon.
Oh my, it's real, I suppose?
I think so. I think this is the same thing he said before. It's the same thing he said before, actually. Okay, so we gotta present the gun to somebody.
The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear.
I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavy manhandled.
Almost as if somebody has enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting it around and around too, for fun? Ah. Whoa. Oh, what's that? It appears to be some sort of key. But it's tiny though. Couldn't be a key for a door, not at that size. So what is it for then, I wonder? So it's not a weapon, or it doesn't have a blood stain, but it's a interesting. Stop fucking yawning. It's goddamn 10 in the morning. You shouldn't be yawning. It's like a spy weapon or something. This looks like some sort of key. Yes, it does. A very tiny and simple key. What's a little key doing inside a figure of a policeman like this in the first place? And what's it for? Yeah, no clue. But hey, at least we have it. Excuse me. If you're looking down on us for the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard. I've interrupted some deep thoughts here. These guys are too depressed. Somebody's very haphazardly nailed those boards over the broken glass, haven't they? You couldn't even really call it a window anymore. Yeah, no wonder this place looks so run down. Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Knotsmaid's room, that was totally blocked up with bricks. This one does at least still have some light, so you could say nothing more about it. I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Knotsmaid now. Hey, he's back in Japan though, it's all good. He's fine. The top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off. Yes, there's wax spattered on the floor wall behind. Look. I suppose if a bullet had hit it. It does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle, having first passed through the inspector's body. Now that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. Okay, we got the candelabrum. I forgot how you say that word. Well, I know there's candelabra, but that's a different thing. So, I suppose this is where the victim... That's right. The rope is laid around the body to show exactly where it was found. Oh, it's rope. I thought it was chalk. It looks like chalk from a distance, but you can kind of see now. Oh, Inspector Gregson himself had already been taken away. It would probably be under Dr. Scythe's scalpel by now, if not for what happened last week. From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball. I mean, assuming that's what happened if he toppled over by the gun. Are you feeling alright, Mr. Naruhodo? You look like you've just seen a ghost. I know it's just a rope, but, well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with that blood stain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality. Suzuto sounds strong, though. She's taking this far better than I am. Oh yeah, here's a little detail that I actually did not notice. And I figured I'd point it out because some commenters mentioned in videos, not my videos, but other videos I watched, but because of the fact that this game is entirely in English, I'll wake up eventually. Because of the fact the game's entirely in English, the way they denote if the Japanese characters are speaking Japanese or not is if they use I always forget the frickin' word. What is it called? Like, oh yeah, honorifics. If they use the honorifics in their speaking, that's them speaking Japanese. But if they say like Mr. or Mrs., that's them speaking English, which is kind of cool actually. So, I don't know what it's like in the Japanese version of the game, but I'd be interested to see, because obviously you're not going to have the game be in English in the Japanese version, because otherwise this game would have been brought overseas already, like way quicker, but it is kind of interesting that they do that. I don't know, maybe they use like hiragana instead of katakana or something, because that's a tactic that they do a lot of the time. It's like, there's a lot of games where like, if a character is like very mysterious or like some sort of characteristic, like they'll speak in like
katakana instead of hiragana or something. I think they do that in like Partners in Time, for example. You know how you have like the Elite Hammer Bros? Well, I think they speak in like some weird katakana formatting or something, and it's like kind of interesting. It's cool what you can do with Japanese that you can't with English. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing.
Oh, funnily enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it?
Oh, that's Reynosuke speaking.
It is. A bright red hairpiece.
And I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it?
And it's such a flame-colored red, too.
Yes, that's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it?
Exactly. This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it.
Wow, I can't imagine Gregson wearing red hair. This is just kind of making me believe the rumor that he's frickin' Mr. Vigil. I don't know about that though. It could. Hey, you never know though. You never know. I think that's everything, right? Unless there's something else I forgot to examine. Again, it would be really nice if the game would tell me like what I haven't examined yet. Well, you know what I mean. Like, I wish I could. Again, the Danganronpa thing. Well, there are things we can examine. I mean, I don't think she's gonna know anything with the gun, but I'll try. Yeah, whatever. So there's the gun. There's the policeman. Pouty face. Nothing about the policeman. And the candle. Pouty face. And then the wig. Okay, nothing. She has nothing to say about any of this. Oh, folly. Alright, well... I'm gonna try moving somewhere else, then. I don't think I've been to the prison yet, have I? Oh my god, it's so weird seeing him in the prison. Oh my god, this is like the fucking... This is fucking case 1-5 all over again. There he is. Lord Van Zieks behind bar. I completely forgot that he's the fucking, like, defendant. So weird. What am I trying to say? Shit, I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
So it's true. He really was arrested.
He's sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Zieks. Oh, I don't think he's not gonna be fucking happy. He's not happy. He's not gonna be happy to meet us in this situation. Fancy meeting you here. The last place on Earth I'd like to be, with the last person on Earth I'd like to see. I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened, that Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you.
But... Forgive me, Lord Van Zieks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with investigations, please.
There's really nothing I can tell you.
What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case?
This... The art isn't quite so cavalier of its information as to share case details with the suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance.
Is it Bunny Brain again? Oh, who might that be?
Someone you know, as it happened. Oh, I fucking knew it!
Of course, yes. I keep forgetting they went to the same university.
I'm glad the case 3 has continuity now with case 4. And I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know?
Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zieks never minces his words.
But they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. Well, duh, he's fucking in prison, bro. Alright, well, here's my armband. I think you know that this is worn by people in my country to show up the defense lawyers, don't you? And I think you know that I believe you to be merely playing at lawyercraft initially. But it would seem your armband may actually imply some dormant talent after all.
Lord Van Zieks, do you mean...
Let's hope you wake up soon.
Yes, I was clearly daydreaming. I almost thought I got a compliment there.
Yeah, a compliment from him? No fucking way. It's not for me.
Ah, that's not why I was showing you it.
I suppose. If it was a black-headed wig, you would have no hesitation.
Well, he doesn't really have black hair either. He's got, like, kind of a grayish, like a metallic grayish-blue kind of hair. Whatever the fuck color that is. None whatsoever.
Sadly, my own hair could be no more described as black as it could red. What colored league should I then join?
People are troubled by the most unexpected problems at times. I mean, that is a good question. What would you consider his hair color? I don't know. Does the Ace Attorney wiki have any information? I don't know. Let's see. Maybe I could see what it says. It's like blue. No, dark purple. It says. I guess that's what we're going with. Ah, it looked kind of bluish to me. Yeah, dark purple is his hair color. Yeah, I don't really think there's any dark purple talent agencies out there.
What's that?
Ah, it's just something I was hoping to ask your opinion about, that's all.
It's a serious crime for the defense to attempt to extract information from the prosecution by illegal means.
Alright, I get the message. But I don't see what's illegal about me asking. Okay, what else would he know about? Probably not the letter of introduction. Well, maybe he might, I don't know. It's worth a try. I mean, you never know what somebody's gonna know about any of the evidence. Alright. I'm just gonna... It's gonna get really bad when, I have to fucking... When I'm, like, into case 5, and I'm, like, near the end, and I have, like, a bajillion pieces of evidence. Because I'm gonna be presenting every single one, just to get every bit of dialogue I can. Bloom, bloom. Alright. I don't think there's much else to present to him. He's not gonna know about the freaking hair, obviously. Yeah, okay. Well, that's about it, I guess. What happened? What happened? Can you at least tell us about your side of the story, Lord Van Zieks? What happened? He's not gonna tell you anything.
How much do you already know?
We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street. And that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested. We were told that there was nobody else in the room, and that some witnesses heard the gunshot.
Then you're well informed. And there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself.
But the gunshot. Obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you?
I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I also heard noise, however. Before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers.
So he doesn't actually know what happened. I mean, makes sense. If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with?
I don't need to answer that.
Oh.
After all, you're not representing me.
He's going to need a lawyer, though. I don't know, I still, like, get the feeling that he's gonna try and, like, defend himself in court. Is that just me? Because who's the prosecutor gonna be, then? Like, we're not gonna magically have a new prosecutor, are we? Oh, shit, unless it's... Dude,
What if it's fucking Asogi? What if Asogi's gonna be the prosecutor? That'd be so whack. Who's going to be representing you in court, Lord Van Zieks? Anyone other than you, I should imagine.
Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet?
Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know.
But this is different.
In my career, of all the defendants I've prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now.
Surely not.
I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me if it's the end of a barge pole.
But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you?
It's been 10 years now since I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of the killer more than I. However, it seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that.
What does he mean by that?
Alright, Professor Harebrain's letter.
After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought.
It's a letter to him. It's a letter to inform me of his safe arrival home. I arranged this passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper.
Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean?
Yes, so it seems. Your stooped little Nipponese friend, for example. You told me he is keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day.
Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Harebrain's safely back in Germany now.
He is. So, it appears our conversation has run dry.
There was a 2-second silence, that's all.
Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you.
I was wondering, Lord Van Zieks, if you like, I'd be happy to advocate for you.
You trust me, do you?
Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. So I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just, my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly.
It's a very gracious offer, however. I trust no one.
What?
Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese.
But please.
I have no intention of engaging your services.
Very stubborn, I see. The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems. Yeah, it's like that one episode of Sailor Moon where there's that big fucking, like, pit valley that they almost drop into.
I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will waste any more time.
Oh, back to reading the paper, I guess. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Van Zieks and what happened to Inspector Gregson.
Well, guess we're gonna do that. Yeah, there's nothing here. He's just gonna be sitting back there. He's just gonna be stationary, looking at his frickin' paper. What about the governor's office? Do we need to go there?
No.
Okay. The hotel, maybe? Nope. I'm thinking. Oh. Something's going on here. It's pretty important. God damn, that name is still so long. You've made good time. I took an express train back to London. I don't know who that is.
I can hear Lord Strongheart, can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone.
Oh, it's a Cosma. Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork.
It's Cosmo-sama.
your timing's impeccable.
It is?
No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry.
Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Van Zieks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson?
Man, frickin' Strongheart, man. His, like, two biggest, like, people are in, like, prison right now. It's like Dr. Scythe and now Van Zieks are both in prison. I believe only in the facts. And the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zieks for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective.
No, surely not.
It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes.
So, does that mean the trial's tomorrow?
Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions.
Oh boy, I knew it. Kazuma.
Ah, but of course. You've already acquainted, aren't you? Mr. Sogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings. Leading the prosecution.
But I thought he was a defense attorney, man. Wait, what? Kazuma?
As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law.
Kazuma-sama? A prosecutor?
Yeah, I knew we would need like a prosecutor to stand in. I guess Kazuma fits. Wait, can I talk to him? I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be all right now.
Has your memory completely returned?
Yes, completely. I remember everything, including what I was coming here to do.
Right. Well, I feel like since he's been in Britain now, I'm gonna have to, like accent up his voice a little bit. Kazuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia?
It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. It was that voice that guided me here to London.
I'm so sorry for what's happened.
Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return to the way it was before.
What do you mean?
I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon.
What, that's it? I thought he would have more to say, honestly. Just sitting behind that desk must make you feel so important, don't you think? Would you like to have an office like this, Mr. Naruhodo, with such a grand desk?
Who, me? No, I don't think so.
Oh? Well, imagine if you suddenly found yourself needing the toilet. You'd have so far to go. How true. Perhaps the important people who work in Ostinius offices like this haven't considered such things.
I'm going to take this as a compliment. I'm probably not going to examine everything, but yeah, that's funny. Alright, what else do you have to say? You have something to say about the armband?
Can I show you this?
No, I guess not. Is there anything I can even present to him? I doubt it. Whatever. I'm not gonna bother. I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no, people all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds.
There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper of the Bailey, and now, the Reaper himself must stand in the dock.
Quite so. The public wants answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths.
But Lord Van Zieks' family denies any involvement in such matters. And there have been thorough investigations that have proven them to be innocent.
That's certainly true, or it has been at least until now.
Ah.
No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history.
Prosecutor or so, yeah, that sounds really weird. So, Cosmo will be prosecuting tomorrow?
That's right.
But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart.
Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it'll mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I've no doubt at all that Cosmo will be raised as sharp as a prosecutor. Wow. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that we've switched roles. I mean, you know, just look at Miles Edgeworth being a defense attorney. But why Cosmo-sama? There are surely many other high-skilled prosecutors in Great Britain.
It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial.
You asked for this? But why?
It's all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation.
I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld.
I mean, he is his apprentice, after all.
It seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact.
Yeah, how often does a prosecutor get prosecuted? The only other game I can think of is the first game. And, well, what else? Not much else besides that, right? How many more prosecutors do you have to prosecute, right? I guess, well, actually, doesn't Dual Destinies do that, too? Yeah, I think, yeah, it happens in Dual Destinies as well. Okay. You're quite right, Miss Megatoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way.
Ah.
After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it at its judiciary closing ranks.
So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution?
Ryunosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed, after practicing law in this land for so many months.
Cosmo, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't going to end well, my friend. Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zieks?
That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene.
Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know. That's right, Mr. Naruhodo. Be direct.
It's certainly a moralist issue to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine.
We've never seen him with a gun, that's what makes it so weird. In that case, it could have actually belonged to the victim.
No, Gregson had his gun on his person.
What about Lord Van Zieks?
He claims it's currently not in his possession.
What?
According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious.
But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant is no proof that it's actually his.
No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation's grave for Lord Van Zieks. I mean, who else do we know that could have a gun, right? Doesn't look like we're gonna glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our Empire's history. There's much you can learn from the public gallery. Sorry I've taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Oh, that's him. Before you go, Ryunosuke. Oh, what is it, Cosmo? I just wanted to thank you.
Cosmo-sama, what?
You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection.
You always were intent on studying British law in order to change your own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruto didn't want that to die with you.
Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here.
Oh.
We're finally gonna learn about that? I actually have a favor to ask. Which is... This trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as the defense counsel.
Why? What's this all about?
I know you have what it takes.
But Lord Van Zieks would never put his fate in my hands.
On the contrary, he recognizes your talent.
He does?
It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this. Aw, look at that.
That's Lord Van Zieks and Inspector Gregson. In a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the look of it. Yeah, his brother's there. And who's the third person?
It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office.
In Gregson's office, you mean?
Yes, what I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talking make him... Oh, let me read that again. You might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it. Oh, okay.
An old photographic print displayed rather prominently in Inspector Gregson's office, as it was a treasured memory. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this?
Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at prison are almost over.
What are you doing, Cosmo?
Okay, well, I'm gonna assume that's everything then. Oh, fuck, not the prisoner's office. Are we even gonna come back here again? Like, I don't know. I guess what, we're back again. I'm back!
He's back!
Lord Van Zieks is still reading that letter.
And he's not moving at all.
We've been gone quite some time, though.
I mean, not really. It's been like 30 minutes, maybe? Less than that, I think.
Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter.
Or he's just reading it to look like he's busy.
I might even be able to read English faster than he can.
I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting Nipponese.
Oh, sorry, I didn't think you'd hear that.
I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time.
Yes, we hear that your trial's set for tomorrow.
Which is none of your business.
So, have you found a lawyer?
How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This has nothing to do with you.
In other words, no.
Yeah, dumpsters! Let's go. None of you guys can hear that. Yeah, I over-exaggerate, but not everything gets picked up by the mic. And even so, it's like very, very deaf.
You're just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial's been decided.
I'd expect nothing less. So I have no idea who it is.
It's going to be Cosmo Asogi.
Asogi?
That made the color drain from his face. Yeah, if I had to take a drink for every time somebody said that in this game, like, I'd be drunk, man. I'd be wasted. Sorry, guys. I'm just very dehydrated this morning.
Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all.
Alright, well, first things first. Look at this graph. Lord Van Zieks, we came by this old photograph.
Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost.
Is the man on the left there?
Yes, that's my brother, Clint.
Okay, I mean, I already knew that, but hey, at least we got some confirmation by him himself. It had to be, really. Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know? Were you aware of that?
Respect? That's nonsense.
No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, no less.
Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time when things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you.
I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then, too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, an insight into the true nature of this man known to all the stone-cold reaper of the Bailey. Well, here we go. Asogi.
10 years ago, my older brother, who was detective of the prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi.
Genshin Asogi was Cosmo-sama's father.
So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court.
I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Cosmo to you.
It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset.
But what could he have been hoping to achieve?
It's like some sick, twisted, like karma or something? I don't know.
Well, I guess karma would make sense, because that's the name of his sword. And let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Cosmo recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that? Also, I looked up what the word Genshin means, and it means, like, old god or something like that. I think it's in both Japanese and Chinese. So, whenever you see the word Genshin, it's like god, basically. So, it's a cool word. It's just a shame it's been tainted by a certain gacha game. Why would Lord Strongheart assign to this child to somebody like that?
Asogi. That name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane that is you Nipponese.
Right, your hatred of all us Japanese. Oh, the Nipponese Bane. That's a funny title.
I'd only just been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer.
The so-called professor.
Assigned to the investigation as his partner was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard.
And that was Genshin Asogi?
Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. Oh no, it's the sad Van Zieks theme. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong.
Oh, how awful.
To avenge my brother, I prosecuted Nasogi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented.
What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor?
The man in charge of the processor case inquiry, Lord Miles Strong. Oh, he's a prosecutor? What the fuck?
Wait, what?
Lord Strongheart? He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the one person to whom I felt indebted.
I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor.
I didn't know Strongheart was a prosecutor. Wow, that's crazy. Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you?
Ah.
And of all things, as a lawyer.
I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese.
I kept telling myself it was logical. But for so many years, that hatred festered inside me. I could no longer control it.
And I can understand why, now I know the history.
But in the same way I long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life. To Kazuma Sogi, I am the bane of his. The Reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He is looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow.
Wow, so this is a really interesting, like, triangle. Well, not really a triangle, but, like, you know... Kazuma's dad is dead, and Van Zieks' brother is dead, so they both lost someone important to them. Interesting. And I guess now Gregson's also gone, and yada yada yada.
Gregson's transfer to the Paris police prefecture had been finally arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy.
Oh yes, come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, even if he didn't die, he would have been leaving it regardless at some point.
I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean?
It's the first time I've ever encountered it.
Oh.
The Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place.
Sounds like that mystery is even the Reaper is perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we are very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at the Scotland Yard.
Aw, his theme song. Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself. But uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Gregson's single approach to the case, the discovery would have never been made.
What sort of approach?
After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy.
Oh my, 10 years ago?
Why is that so surprising? Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time and rarely performed. And my brother was of course a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary. His powerful convictions somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death.
So, you must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities then. And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life.
Inspector Gregson.
About the gun you used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene.
Ah, yes, that's not mine.
Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is.
What do you expect me to say to that?
Well, Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm.
As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true.
When did you lose it then?
I feel like, I mean, it's possible somebody framed him, stole his gun. That's a possibility. That I don't know.
Oh.
I was issued with a revolver when I first became prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps.
You have something in common with Lon Van Zieks, after all, Mr. Naruto. A talent for misplacing things.
No, this has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it. Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese.
Oh dear. The rift is very wide, isn't it?
So it's not decisive evidence, clearly. But it doesn't look good, that's for sure. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh wow, that's the first time he's called me by my name.
Oh.
Yeah. That's, yeah. I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or the lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in.
What's that?
That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth.
Lord Van Zieks.
From the very first time we clashed in the bailey almost a year ago now, I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Nipponese who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. There are only 2 other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother Clint and Genshin Asogi.
The man he idolized and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way.
Then you showed me that photograph just now. It reminded me.
You mean this photograph?
Back then I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I looked at the future with hope. Since then I've protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe.
I'm so sorry.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me?
Wow. Feels nice to actually hear him ask nicely. Of course I will. It would be an honor. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruto.
Then my life is in your hands.
Wow. This is gonna be a great case, and this is only case 4. There's still a 5th one after this. How? For Lord Van Zieks, that must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow in the Old Bailey, against my old friend Kazuma. Dang. It's too early to end the episode now. I guess we're gonna do a bit of the trial then. A little bit, just a little bit. Maybe like one of the cross-examinations or something. That's what I usually do. I usually do like a little bit of the trial, and then I save the rest of the trial for the next episode. Alright, I mean, I do want to see what it's like to go up against Cosmo, though, because that sounds awesome. It kind of reminds me of that one part in Spirit of Justice. Actually, spoilers if you guys haven't played Spirit of Justice. It's that one part in the game where Apollo goes up against Phoenix in court. It's kind of like that. It's pretty cool, honestly. There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. It's gonna hit different, though, with Cosmo there. Actually, no. It's a little different today.
There's an even more menacing tension in the air.
There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose.
Yes, I think so. Can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. Ah, oh, come on, man. Don't be like that. A little more courtesy, if you please.
Oh my, I do apologize.
However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary.
What do you mean?
I'm not privy to the details. However, I understand that no jury has been selected. No jury?
A trial without jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago.
A close call. I mean, I guess it makes sense because... Oh, hey, what's up, Sholmes? I guess it has to do with the fact that just 2 Japanese are on, like, the trial, I guess? I don't know. Good morning, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes. He finally fixed his hair. Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruhodo? An outright victory for science, you must agree. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Ha! What to one man is a little hair problem, is to another day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning.
Oh dear, how awful for you.
I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And are you? I see London's great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases. The Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. I actually used that word last night, paltry. I put it somewhere in Down Bad Edition. Yeah, I am sort of working on DB a little bit again. I took like a week off almost, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I keep working on it or not, because I want to get a new version out today, since it's the 1st of April at the time of recording. And I usually like to release a new version at the start of every month, and just like get push little updates every now and then. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point in which I would readily commend you. What an honor. And that would be? Your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes, after all, behind this lawyer there's a very great mind. My own. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. So, to barge in... Oh, what the fuck are you doing here?
Gina.
What's that on your arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose. Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Father, shouldn't you be at your symposium?
It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with a police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year.
Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see.
Gina looks kind of bummed out.
Odo.
Oh, yes, Gina?
Why'd you agree to this, eh? Why'd you have to take him on? This Reaper bloke, everyone says it was him, what killed the boss?
I'm sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that.
Well, if it weren't him, then who was it?
I don't know that yet.
I don't care who calls him what. Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was just him what killed the boss, then God help him.
Fiery eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing.
Eh?
At least, that may be some solace to the deceased. She's trying really hard to put on a brave face.
Please, Odo. Get whoever did this for the boss. Oh, Gina. I hate feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you've gotta find who done this and make the rich pay.
Counsel for defense and defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way to the courtroom at once, please. Alright then, here we go.
It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Van Zieks.
Oh, I think I read that wrong. Whoops.
One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution.
Oh, there's like so much loss in this chapter. God damn.
All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events.
And Mr. Sholmes, he's here too.
And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye.
I cannot wait to see what this trial is like. We're gonna get a little glimpse of it today. So if there's no jury, then I guess there's not gonna be a summation examination either, right? Oh, that is really weird. That's really weird to see the seat's empty. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct a fair and just trial of defendant Barak Van Zieks. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin?
The defense is ready, my lord.
The prosecution is more than ready.
Oh, Kazuma-sama. I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long, it feels. But I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench.
That is weird. The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today we must uncover the truth behind this scourge.
In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder.
The truths revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions to the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial with no members of the public present, by Her Majesty's direct orders.
How will that work, my lord?
The burden of all arbitration adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the juror's bench shall remain vacant today.
If no members of the public are present, might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord?
There are members of the judiciary here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial.
Members of the judiciary? Oh my, this is a very unusual trial already.
There's, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and defense are both aliens of Great Britain. I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain.
Cosma?
It's just very weird. I think like the weirdest thing to me is the fact that he's wearing like a completely different wardrobe. Like he was wearing all black back in Japan, and now he's wearing this weird white red suit. It's like it's really strange. Very well, let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Sogi, your opening statement, if you please. Certainly, my lord. He got a big ass scroll. The incident took place on 1st November, just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street in the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property. Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name very well known indeed to this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of his country's grimmest cases 10 years ago. We're gonna figure out what that case is? Oh.
The professor case.
Oh, well, never mind. Forget I asked.
How sure are you about the time of the incident?
Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported the same time.
Yes, that's what Genus told us too. There are a number of witnesses.
I have here a plan of the room. The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at a point-blank range and died instantly. How has the range been determined? There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks were caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range. I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel. Okay, so we got the autopsy. Hopefully we don't get an updated autopsy report. The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim. And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm? No, my lord. Not conclusively.
Bravo, Kazuma-sama. They're not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven.
Furthermore, my lord, as I've explained, the revolver was fired extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There is a candelabrum mounted on that wall. I still can't pronounce that word. And the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. You know, I might as well pull up a frickin' pronunciation thing here. Okay, can I get the British pronunciation, please? Maybe? I can't find the British pronunciation. That's very strange. Well, let's see what it sounds like.
Candelabrum.
Okay, thanks, Brave. Candelabrum. Alright, I mean, it'll probably sound pretty similar in British anyway. Alright.
We noticed that too, didn't we?
Yes, that's right. Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please? As you wish, my lord. Alright, a plan of the small room in the building of the flats on Fresno Street, where the body of the victim, Gregson, was found. Fresno Street. Sounds like Fresco. Is this Fresno Street room Inspector Gregson's private abode? No, my lord. The room is rented to Mr. Hugh Boone. But there's precious little furniture inside, and is generally in a poor state of repair.
So what on earth was Gregson ever doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case or other.
When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested and the accused on the spot. So, the details of the case are clear. In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. A name, please, counsel. Naturally, the accused himself.
Lord Van Zieks?
As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken, and he'll be compelled to tell the truth. Very well. Let the defendant take the witness stand. No shot. We're pressing Van Zieks himself. Oh, there's his theme song again. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Barak Van Zieks, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Zieks, that you heard Prosecutor Sogi's opening precis? I did. It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? Yes, my lord? Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question. And what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth. I must say, Lord Van Zieks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come, but since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it. Damn, even the judge has his doubts. Your formal testimony, then, witness. That was gonna be weird. Alright, the facts of the incident. I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries have led me to that address. When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked up the firearm to examine it, the door flew open. I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. Well, that sounds unfortunate, but there's a lot missing there. That testimony was the whole truth? It was. So, you heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants. And moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes, is that it? You're right, you haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Sogi. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't the word, it's laughable.
What's gone into Kazuma? He's not behaving like himself at all.
Very well then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Oh, this will be interesting. Oh, that is also really strange, just like us clashing in the frickin' cross-examination. Alright, well, let's see.
Hold it!
You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Sorry?
I'd identified the distinct possibilities that Gregson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is this court to understand then that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene? No. I was privy to his movements in advance.
How?
I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 PM entry. You illegally entered the man's office? In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense. As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Zieks? I was aware of the possible consequences. So, in summary, you investigating the victim. And yet, you refuse to tell the court why. I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath.
Why'd I ever think that I could defend this man? Hey, don't lose faith just yet.
Hold it!
Had you ever been to the address before?
No, never. I only learned of the place as the result of my investigation into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all impossible to make out anything.
What about the candle? The candle would have lit up the room, surely. But at 5 PM, the sun would have only just been gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside.
The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. Oh wow, okay, I think I already know what to press on then. I think there is a small oil lamp burning on the desk, so I couldn't say for certain.
Look, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yeah, right there.
There's a small desk in the room just here.
Yes, I remember.
And there was an oil lamp on it, as well as the framed photograph.
I think I already know what to present, but I'm just gonna press everything anyways for the fluff. When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate.
And what did you find?
Nothing. I never actually reached the desk. Okay.
Hold it!
So, who fired the gun?
I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else inside the room.
But you say it was very dark in there.
Yes, that's right. All that I can tell you is, I didn't sense another's presence.
Aha! Then it could be that the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room.
No, that's out of the question.
Oh.
Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder.
This is going from bad to worse.
And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor? Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. That was careless on my part. Presumably then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took into your hands. In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not.
What?
The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder.
The hand? But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired?
Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I too would dearly like to know that.
Hold it!
A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume?
That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street.
Frickin' Fresno. Fresco.
Who are these merchants?
A number of them had wrong voice.
A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshots. Are those gonna be summoned as witnesses later? Oh man. And without knowing of the danger, or without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened.
Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she?
They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. As they did, and almost gave me a heart attack as the process.
But you're supposed to be the Reaper.
The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled. A policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion, and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyways, the man screamed due to my attention in that direction.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear?
I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, but then suddenly there it was.
Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand?
At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first, nothing more.
I see.
After the man fell, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson. Most curious circumstances indeed.
Should I refresh my chat? I don't know. See, there are times where, like, there are people in chat, but, like, Twitch just decides not to show me them on my phone, which is really annoying.
As the infected was killed or has his body seemed to appear out of nowhere? I have no idea.
Objection!
Oh, okay. Cosmo has something to say. Surely the court has heard enough. My lord, the court cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused Barak van Zieks is lying on multiple fronts. The fuck? Wait, what's this song? Is this his new song?
What is that supposed to mean?
Oh, that's Ryunosuke. Good gracious, counsel. The defendant is lying, you say? In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. Is that correct? No, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabrum. Oh, well, hey, he just did the thing I was going to present anyway.
How does that prove anything?
If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact. One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle. The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length. Yes, I see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long. We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together, which begs the question of why only one had ended up longer than the others.
That must be because the particular candle was extinguished when the others were all still burning. Ah!
That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. But the other two candles would have still been burning, so the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum. And the accused claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts these facts. Well, hey, he just did the thing I was going to present, so you know what? Thanks, Cosmo. And now, to the next lie.
There's more?
The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings.
Yes, that's right. We saw it too.
It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they include a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago.
10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar.
And there's a common thread linking all the documents on the board. Indeed? What is this common thread then, counsel? They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Barak van Zieks.
All of them?
And furthermore, all of those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted. Good lord! Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper.
Ah. Oh no.
In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations.
The Reaper's hideout?
And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been there on his own secret hideout? No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards. Backwards? Explain, counsel. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand.
What?
He looks so weird just standing there. Order! Very well. I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Barak van Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor, has rendered great service to this country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Soki's contention that defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts. All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Cosmo's done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case, and it's formidable. Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed the court as evidence. I believe it to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding Reaper's existence. Thank you, my lord. Okay. We got the notice board now. And now, the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question.
They were mentioned in the previous testament.
Oh my god, we're gonna have to deal with these buttheads after all.
Yes, the street sellers had heard the gunshot and went running into the room.
Very well. Lay the witnesses in. Alright, I think that's what we're gonna call it for today then, because, I don't want to know what these witnesses look like until, you know, later. Tomorrow. Who knows? I'm feeling a bit tired, and, well, not tired, but, I think I could go for something to eat in a little bit, actually. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good place to stop for today, so thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. And I'm pretty excited to see where this trial's gonna go, because it's always just really cool when you have to, you know, defend the prosecutor that you've been going up against the whole game. It's like, that doesn't happen. Well, I mean, it happens frequently, but it's still really cool whenever you have to do it. Alright. Well, anyways, I will see you guys in the next episode.